Hello everyone, Tom with Capo Fetish. Let's talk about some of our favorite flawed and panned debut 60s albums. I'm going to start off with here an album from 1967 by the Box Tops. Alex Chilton and the Box Tops. So obviously The Letter, a huge #1 hit in 67. But there's also some really cool tracks on here. Neon Rainbow is a follow-up single. That is really cool. It's amazing that Alex Chilton was like 16 or 17 when this was released. A true talent, Alex Chilton. Then he would go on to big star in the early 70s. But they try to tackle a cover here of Whiter Shade of Pale. It kind of fails a bit, but it's a good attempt. There's another track on here I love, Trains and Boats and Planes. I Pray for Rain. Yeah, I'm Your Puppet. They do a version of I'm Your Puppet. Yeah, it's not an absolute, gem of an album, but I'd say half of it is fantastic. And I think Alex Chilton is just an incredible talent. So, yes, the Box Tops, their first album titled The Letter, Neon Rainbow from 67. Another one, too, not very talked about album, a very, how would we say it? It's a very, almost on the border of pan, and I'm going to say Empty Sky by Elton John from 69. This has some really fine tracks on it, and it really highlights Elton's powerful voice. I mean, in these early days. This was only released in Britain in 69, and then about 5 years later or so in the US with a different cover, but this is the UK. And of course, we have the first collaboration of Bertie Taupin and Elton John. I think some of my favorites on here, though, the first two tracks especially, Empty Sky, and then towards the end of the album, Skyline Pigeon. But there's something on here that's horrible. It's I think it's a fine debut. It's definitely not like his self-titled one from 70. I mean, he was just kind of like getting used to the studio here and getting used to writing with a partner. So I think there's some great stuff on here. If you're into Elton John, you've never heard it, it's definitely worth investigation. Empty Sky by Elton John, 69. How about some really cool sunshine pop? First album by The Circle. Cyrkle, The Circle. Two giant hits on here, Red Rubber Ball, and I've always loved Turn Down Day. And then there's some really cool album tracks on here too. Why Can't You Give Me What I Want? They do a version of Cloudy by Paul Simon. Very fluffy sunshine pop. Their second album I've talked about in the past called Neon is fantastic. That's a really great kind of sunshine pop-ish psych album. But this is just full-on sunshine pop. There are tracks on here that are really just kind of cringy. But I'd say, again, that half of this album is really great. It's a great Flawed album from 1966. The debut album from The Circle, Red Rubber Ball. Now, when people talk about Joplin, they think about pretty much these two albums, Cheap Thrills with Big Brother, or, her album right before she passed, Pearl. But I got to say, I was blown away how many reviews I read of this album where they just knocked this record down. And I think it's a fantastic record. I got them Old Cosmic Blues Again Mama, her official debut album as a solo artist. And I remember when I received this years ago, the official Rolling Stone record guide, they actually put this Joplin album as a 1-star record. Look at that, 1 star, 1 star for this record, just absurd. The ironic thing about this Rolling Stone record guide is, though, it would get worse over the years, but this is probably the most accurate of all the editions, the very first pressing. But back to the album, I think this is a fantastic Joplin album, and I'd say it's almost near perfect. People criticize the horns. I think the horns add a lot of depth to her singing. I think this has some of her most just passion vocals. The Cosmic Blues track is just incredible when that chorus kicks in and the brass. And the song Try, which kicks off the album, is really awesome and groovy and funky. Maybe is just heartbreakingly good. Work Me Lord ends the album. You got Little Girl Blue, her version of To Love Somebody by the Bee Gees. This is a fantastic record. So one of my favorite debut albums that have been panned by many, many publications over the years, and I don't understand why. I think they wanted Joplin to continue in that kind of garage rock psych style that she had with Big Brother, but I think she was going in a great direction here, and Pearl is awesome too. So throwing this in, I got some old Cosmic Blues Again Mama from Janis. I'm going to throw these guys in here. Now, I don't know if it's just, no, it's not nostalgia. I think this stuff still holds up a bit. I'm talking about the Monkees, her debut. This is the original copy I grew up with. My sister gave me her Monkees albums when I was like a teenager. I grew up with these albums though, the first four. And I think this album, half of this album has some outstanding tracks. I think it has one of the greatest garage rock classics of all time, Saturday's Child. That the way that that lick starts it off, it's such a great lick, and it has like this real good beat. It's fantastic, and the chorus kicks in, and a great vocal by Dolenz. The whole first side, I think, is nearly perfect, except for I Want to Be Free. I just cannot stand Davy Jones' voice on that. It's just so fluff. But you've got Take a Giant Step, another great track, sung by Dolenz. Papa Jean's Blues, sung by Nesmith. Tomorrow's Going to Be Another Day. And then on side 2, you got Last Train to Clarksville, Sweet Young Thing, another great Nesmith sung track. So yeah, a very panned group when they came out. I think they're finally gaining a little more steam over the decades, people realizing how great these tracks are and how well they were performed. I mean, let's face it, they had some of the greatest, writers, Brill building writers writing for the Monkees, Carole King and Goffin and King and Neil Diamond. So, these songs are fantastic. So yeah, I'm throwing the Monkees album in here, the debut from 1966. Another great one from 65. I'm throwing this in here, though it's not, it's, nowhere near like classic and incredible, but I think half of it is fantastic. I love her voice. Marianne Faithfull, her debut here in the U.S., featuring As Tears Go By, of course, by the Stones. Come Stay With Me. She has a great version of I'm a Loser. Lennon and McCartney on here. Some of the stuff is kind of iffy. She does a Del Shannon track, Come and Stay With Me. But I've always liked her voice and just her whole style. I don't know if you've ever seen the Rock and Roll Circus film, but she's lip syncing to this track called Could Have Been Something Better or something like that. And she's just sitting there just so stylized and beautiful. And it's just an incredible track. And just the way she looks while she's singing it. Yeah, another one we lost this year, Marianne Faithfull, just a true original. Had a lot of issues. She got through it, and I really dig some of the tracks on this album here. So Marianne Faithfull, her debut in the U.S. here on the what kind of label is it here? Is it London label? Marianne Faithfull, a guy that I don't think gets enough credit for his vocal prowess, his baritone. Tom Jones, his debut in the U.S. here from 65. It's Not Unusual. The hit, of course, It's Not Unusual. Incredible track. His vocals, he could have been like in a metal band, right? Like a really, really cool baritone, just so strong. We've got What You Gonna Do, I Need Your Loving, Once Upon a Time, Autumn Leaves, Spanish Harlem, he does a cover of that. Really, really entertaining. I've always found Tom Jones very entertaining. And then vocals, you cannot deny the prowess of Tom Jones. So It's Not Unusual from 65. When I was young, I grew up with this album here. It was a knockoff of the first Beach Boys album, Surfin' Safari. And later I would acquire Surfin' Safari, but this is the one I grew up with. And it's missing like 3 songs. This is just a really, really bastardized version of Surfin' Safari, released on the Pickwick label. Pickwick would release a lot of these, odd compilation, bastardized versions of Beach Boys albums in the 70s with horrible sound. Of course, when you're young, you don't realize how bad the sound is. You just want to hear the music through your little record player. But, after a while, I picked up this one, and I think this is really good representation, like early representation of the Beach Boys' raw sound here with Surfin' Safari and 409, You got their very first single, Surfing, on here. Heads You Win, Tails I Lose, Summertime Blues. Yeah, it's not Pet Sounds, but there's something charming about it, and I think it's nostalgia for me. This is one of the first albums I really listened to constantly as a child, so I'm putting this in 63s or 62s, Surfin' Safari by the Beach Boys. And this last one here I'm going to feature just for the sheer audacity of it all, right? This coming from like one of the most revered songwriters of the 20th century. I mean, just putting this out, just unbelievable. 2 versions, Yoko and Lennon. And, you know, is it listenable? You know, if you're more of a voyeur type of person, yeah, it's like you're listening in on somebody's conversation in the next room. It's pure voyeurism. And it's more listenable than his second one with Yoko, Life with the Lions, Unfinished Music. That one is just like on a whole different level of unlistenability. But yeah, so is it listenable? Yeah, in a voyeurish type of way. And the cover, I mean, come on. It is just, it's a full-on pube fest. So it's better that it's covered. But should we do a little striptease here? Do, bum, 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 whoopsie daisy, boop, boop, boop. Anyway. 2 versions. I'm putting this in here just for the just sheer audacity of it all. And Lennon just saying, screw you. We're going to lay it all out. We don't care what people think. And so there you go. 2 versions from 1968. If you have any more to add to the list, let me know in the comments section. As always, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you dig the content across the channel, press subscribe. It's absolutely free. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.